So I'm still thinking about the Scarlet Brotherhood from last week, and I wanted to explore a little bit about the roles of secret societies in D&D and Greyhawk today on Greyhawk Grognard. So last week, when I did that retrospective of the book, The Scarlet Brotherhood, it naturally got me thinking about the Scarlet Brotherhood in general, and I've been doing some research for another project on other things that are related to it, and I don't want to say anything out loud. And it got me thinking about secret societies, and this is something I covered a little bit in my book, The Golden Scroll of Justice, which is kind of a fantasy China thing, and they're, since secret societies are kind of a trope of wuxia film and so forth, I put in a section of rules about this. And I wanted to just kind of talk about it a little bit in the most general sense. It's important to remember that the term secret society can mean one of two things. It could be a society that is itself secret, and nobody knows that it exists. And then the idea is that, something happens to uncover it, and, you then can, you know that the conspiracy exists, and you go in and uncover it and stop its nefarious plans and so forth and yada, yada, yada. That's normally what you think of when you think of the term secret society, is one that either the existence of the society itself is not known, or the membership is not known. People know that something called the Red Dragon exists, but nobody knows who belongs to it or what they're doing or anything like that. They just know that there's something out there and they don't like it. That's one way to define the term secret society. Now, the second way to use the phrase secret society is an open society. People know it exists. People know, by and large, who the members are, but they don't know what they do in those secret society meetings. The best example of this is like a Masonic lodge. Everybody knows the Masons are out there. They got big buildings with the big Masonic symbol on the front. People know that they exist, and they know by and large who's there, because they'll have the little Masonic thing on their license plate, or they'll wear the necktie pin or whatever. So it's who's in it is kind of open, and the fact that it's there is for all to see. But nobody really knows what they do, and this is a very different way of approaching it that I think could have a lot of utility in D&D. Because just because a society's activities behind closed doors are secret does not necessarily make them nefarious. Because you could have a secret society that was devoted to helping the poor, but as part of the discipline of the society, they practice secrecy in their rituals, when they're in their lodge hall or whatever. You could have a secret society in Greyhawk, for example, dedicated to helping the poor is a good example. You could have a secret society of, say, worshippers of Saint Cuthbert, who their activities involve going into the astral plane and fighting demons before they can arrive on Earth or something. But you don't want to make that public, because then the enemies would try to take advantage of that. If people don't even know that you're doing that, it gives you a leg up when you're trying to fulfill your purpose. And this is the kind of thing that you could really play to good effect, because you can ratchet up the paranoia about the existence of a secret society in your campaign. So, to take a different example, let's say there's a secret society of cord worshippers. The Sul deity of strength and brawling, and what they do in their society meetings is to they hold wrestling matches with each other. and that's how they determine who's the head of the lodge. I'm just using the word lodge generically here. Every 6 months, whoever makes it through the thing becomes the president of the lodge for the next 6 months, or whatever. There's absolutely nothing nefarious in it. The purpose of the lodge is fellowship, and they hold feasts for each other. And the work of the lodge is the tests of strength to determine who becomes the chief of the lodge for that 6-month period. Something like that you could work that up into an enormous red herring for the PCs. You just throw it out there that there's this secret society of Chord worshippers and nobody knows what they do. And then they could, in their own minds, players being what they are, they're going to build it up into this huge thing. And then when they finally find out what's going on inside, it's a complete, it's a dead end for them. Or even better, it turns it into an opportunity for them. So let's say, for example, that one thing in the dungeon that they've been pounding their heads against is a giant boulder or a giant portcullis that they're not able to get up or whatever. They can't bend bars, lift gates. It's too much. So later on, when they discover what this society of Chord worshippers is doing, they can get the president of the society to help them over. You could work it into what seemed to be a threat at first could be a benefit later on. And of course, you could do it straight away. You could have a true evil society that was pretending to be a good society. So let's say there's a secret society that purports to be worshippers of Beori, the Earth Mother, but in reality, they're that's the exterior. But in reality, they're worshiping Demogorgon or Orcus or something in the most secret parts of their rituals that are behind closed doors. So you could have that happening. Now, in the Gord the Rogue books, we see a little of this. There are mentions of the balance as a political force. There are actors out there that are actively working to keep law and chaos and good and evil in balance against each other. And they are essentially a secret society. He specifically mentions things like the Rosy Cross, and the Hierophants of the high-level druids. The Rosy Cross is another word for the Rosicrucians, which is a real-world secret society. So you could have these kinds of societies out there working for any kinds of purposes, good and evil. And of course, that also opens up the idea that the PCs could themselves join such a society. And if that's the case, then they could use them as a patron, and they could be sent on missions, and they could request aid. If it's a whole order that spans the entire Flyness, there could be local lodges all over the place. So all they have to do, if they're on an adventure in Kaoland, they're from the city of Greyhawk, they go to Kaoland and they're in need of help, they give a sign of recognition that they're a member of this secret society, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, we can hide you from your enemies, or yes, I can cast a Cure Light Wounds on you, or whatever. So you have these kinds of things, and that's actually something also that I put in my new book, Swords of Cthulhu, which I just happen to have a copy of here, in the section on cultists, which is a subclass of cleric that's in the book. Cultists can call upon other members of their cult to give them aid at some points, and there's mechanical rules for it in there. But you can take that idea and work it in a number of different ways. You can have the true secret society that nobody knows exists, or you could have the public society that nobody knows what they do. And bear that kind of dichotomy in mind, with the understanding, obviously, that if nobody knows it exists, nobody knows what they do. So it's kind of an overlap, in that sense. But this is just an idea that you could apply to any campaign setting. So let me know what you think in the comments. Is this something you've done in the past? Do you have any examples of other secret societies? I know in the Forgotten Realms, obviously, there are the Harpers, there's the Zentarim. Those are great examples of what I'm talking about here in another setting. So if have you used any of these things in your own campaigns? What do you think? Let me know what you think in the comments. Just a reminder, everybody who's part of my Patreon gets access to these videos 2 weeks early. And other than that, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.